walk through the valley of the shadows.
Feels so cold inside.
I remember almost all of high school. Maybe not in order, but it's all up there somewhere. I bet you remember what mattered. The impossible highs. The dreadful, embarrassing lows, too. Prom nights and breakups. Getting caught cheating in class. Would you want to relive any of it? A few minutes? An hour? A whole week? A few weeks back, my mom told me that she still had all my yearbooks. Did I want them? I bet the answer to that question, do you want to look back to really see yourself in that place again, splits a lot of us from each other. I bet some of you never ever want to look back, and some of you probably can't wait to. I wanted to look, but I was afraid. Nothing had stayed the same since then. Many of my closest friends were mostly echoes now. Some had gone so completely away from themselves that they had become hazards to themselves and to others. Others had outgrown me and simply didn't want to or need to look back. I understand this, though. It'll always hurt a little.
As you watch me on TV, I wonder what you thought about me. What did you think of me?
Looking back at your yearbook reminds you who you were. What parts of you are still alive. It freezes you. I felt this way every week when Yellowjackets aired. When this cut happens in the theme song.
It was cool, nothing fire, nothing broke.
Just like that, a woman ages into herself. Whatever she was back then is gone. The potential, the star athlete, the passionate trader, the woman whose tomorrows are ahead of her. In the blink of an eye, with the speed of an edit, she's almost halfway done her life.
Oh, wait. Hey, I thought we weren't doing this again.
We're not. Again. Tell me you love me. I won't hold you to it, okay? Just say it.
I love you, Shauna.
Say it again.
I love you, Shauna.
My breath stops every time I see it. Yellowjackets was the best thing I saw on television last year. It's about a girls' soccer team and their chaperones when their plane crashes on the way to the national championship, and they get stranded in the wilderness together. It's the perfect idea for a TV show. I don't know how it is that we've gotten this far without some version of it. It opened this box that I'd kept locked inside myself. Things I hid to survive. My relationship to works of art that meant the most to me. The things I've kept secret, like each of the women on this show have to get through the day. The show was like a mirror, or maybe not, maybe that's too clean a metaphor. It's like when I had my wisdom teeth out, The surgeons gave me anesthetic that didn't work, so I had the sensation of watching the whole surgery take place from a few feet away, standing outside my own body, seeing this happen to me, feeling everything. Yellowjackets had everything that I had been obsessed with. And so there was this shape, this me-sized collection of obsessions looking back at me week after week. It was unearthly. I couldn't look away. The show capitalized on the idea that we will find ourselves in it, in some crooked, nostalgic form, in its decision to cast a dream roster of 90s actresses as the grown leads of the show, years after the crash. Tawny Cypress doesn't have the same baggage, but she's equally terrific in her role as adult Thaisa.
Going on. It started happening again. No, it's not just happening. I'm doing it, and it fucking scares me because the last time I think I may have been the one to let Biscuit out of the house. Sorry. It's okay, baby. It's okay. No, it's okay. Okay, it's okay. Baby. Okay, it's okay. We will get you help, whatever you need, okay? Mm-hmm. And we can, I don't know, find you asleep. What I really need is for you and Sammy to go stay at your mom's house for a little while. What? Why? I just think it would be better for everybody involved if you and...
Thaisa, we're a family. We're not going to leave you. We're going to...
I'm not... You can't be here. I don't think I'm making myself clear. You don't understand. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt you.
The show, for the most part, knows that we'll pick up the vibe of each grown Yellowjacket when we see who plays them now. Cypress, human razorblade Juliette Lewis, the Hellion from so many 90s genre films.
How many bullets you have?
I don't know. Not many.
Melanie Linsky, hiding savviness and savagery under her pleasant exterior. And the original preteen goth girlfriend, Christina Ricci.
Wait. What? We cannot break bread with you.
Huh? Becky, what's going on?
Wednesday! You have taken the land which is rightfully ours. Years from now, my people will be forced to live in mobile homes, on reservations. Your people will wear cardigans and drink highballs. We will sell our bracelets by the roadsides. You will play golf and enjoy hot hors d'oeuvres. My people will have pain and degradation. Your people will have stick shifts. The gods of my tribe have spoken. They have said, do not trust the pilgrims. Especially Sarah Miller.
Gary, she's changing the words.
And for all these reasons, I've decided to scalp you.
I just changed those sheets. You know, I think the morphine might be upsetting your tummy. Let's skip this dose. Don't fuck with me.
The goth girlfriend isn't an archetype we see handled with much care anymore. It's mostly delivered in rough shorthand. In the 90s, she was everywhere, and she seemed a genuine outgrowth of directors with real style and points of view, things to say. She had been nurtured by the counterculture for years, of course, but she had her best run during my childhood and adolescence, when I was still learning about the world. The woman with heavy eyeshadow who reads all the cool books, who knows every good song by heart. The heartbreaker who calls herself a witch sitting across the classroom you want so desperately to notice you. The girl who discovers existentialism before she has her braces off. The bride of Frankenstein, the queen of the living dead. She's taken many forms, and you know there are some filmmakers who never got over her.
I kissed your lips and I tasted blood. I asked you what happened, then you said there'd been a fight. You said I've been fighting for your honor, but you wouldn't understand. I said, hold on, your honor, I'll get asked for your hand. Oh, you've been fighting for my honor and I don't understand. Hold on, your honor, I'll get asked for your hand. You said, come on, baby, let's just make love, the only thing to make me better. You said, oh, come on, let's just get you out of that sweater. I said, I don't kiss losers and I don't kiss winners. And I don't bet my honor, 'cause we all are born sinners. Gargle with peroxide, a steak for your eye. But I'm a vegetarian, so it's a frozen pizza pie. You tell me that you care and you never do lie. You fight for my honor, but I just don't know why.
Besides, didn't you have a thing for Sandy in high school?
I did not have a thing. I did not have a thing. I did not have a thing. I was very much in love with him. Very much in love, and there's a difference. There's a difference.
Yellowjackets is one of the greatest iterations of this particular archetype in Natalie, a part shared by Lewis and Sophie Thatcher. Thatcher plays her beautifully, as someone who's aware that she's being judged by her appearance, and can't help but feed into those assumptions even as she wants to fight them.
Hey, Burnout! Show us your tits! Oh, come on, don't be shy!
I mean, shit, if you really want to see him.
Oh.
Fuck, Natalie, he's gonna kick our ass, not yours.
Only if they catch us.
Her unwillingness to be like everyone else is as much an identity as it is an albatross. Lewis shows what happens when you decide not to shed the skin of the unknowable girl in the back of the bus. Both capture the uncertainty, the gnawing, incomplete feeling, the slipping away of control magnificently. The punk rock facade drops, and out comes this screaming need for someone to take your hand, even though you've deliberately scared away everyone who might want to do it. Everybody needs that touch, sometimes.
No, I don't have his account password. That's the thing, because... Well, please, could you just talk to your manager and just tell them that I'm not his family, but I'm pretty much... You're not listening. Can you just help me, please? No? Can you fucking help me? What the fuck? Talk to your manager! You fucking bitch! Do you believe in love? Talk to your fucking manager! You're kidding. Well, yes, it is.
Yellowjackets showcases other types, of course. That's part of its charm. From the gossipy drama queen, to her nebbishy sidekick, to the type A valedictorian. It's a show with two different settings, both topsy-turvy, thanks to the intrusion of genre signifiers and plot points. In the past, the girls form a degenerate society in the wake of tragedy and violence. It takes its place within a rich tradition of movies where women finally gain control over the prisons of masculine order in which they've been placed.
Lead on.
I made one of these myself. I'm obsessed with the idea of liberation and confinement going hand in hand. In the present, their lives fall apart when they realize their past has finally stopped being silent. I love media about the natural order toppled, where houses no longer feel like what they were because tragedy has taken the fulcrum of the home, a child, a parent. This isn't a house anymore, it's just a shelter from impossible weight. It may never feel like home again. Melanie Linsky's adult Shauna's house loses its normalcy thanks to her affair, her husband Jeff's blackmailing scheme, her daughter losing trust in both of them. The routines disappear. Normalcy is gone.
We're out of Xanax.
This is Larry's number at East Credit, okay? Now, he handles all the financials for the store, and he can help you sell off any inventory for any money you might need, or all of it if that's what you want to do, okay?
What? Why?
Shauna, you and I used to watch Dateline every week. We know how this is gonna turn out. We're not gonna get away with this. I'm gonna go to the cops, and I'm gonna tell them that I found out about my wife's lover, and I went over to confront him, and it just got out of hand, you know? It got out of hand, and it was an accident.
You can't do that.
Listen, we got a lot of stuff to sort through, but I'm not gonna let you go down for some stupid shit that I did.
Oh, Jeff, listen, you listen, okay? You wanting to take the fall for me that's really sweet. But if you go down, there's a pretty great chance that the cops are gonna find out what else you've been up to, right? And if it gets out that the Yellowjackets are being blackmailed because of what we did out there, our lives, Callie's life, would be over.
Both of Yellowjackets' timelines are governed by chaos, by a quick reshuffling of the natural order to resemble something livable. This is a favorite story type of mine. I've made these kinds of things over and over again, trying to recapture the spark of what I felt in high school, a place I can only revisit now in the pictures in these yearbooks. It's difficult to regain your sense of equilibrium when you finally figure out that there was really no one in charge. Mine was a boarding school, and though I didn't live there officially, I rarely left. It was crooked and corrupt in ways that we could see and in ways we could only feel. Teachers and students were having sexual relationships, some we knew about, some we'd only learn about later, after a grand jury indictment made public the testimonies of many faculty members and students. Drugs were everywhere too, but that's not unusual for a high school. It did add to the feeling that this wasn't a school, really. It was a little settlement, and they were just penning us in until they could release us, thoroughly unprepared for the rest of life. It's tough to fully forget that feeling, especially when every day from 8 to 5:30 you were there, surrounded by people going crazy in the same ways that you were. Coffee was free. Consequences for bad behavior were few and far between. If you wanted to sleep in the black box theater where we did all of our shows, no one could really stop you. I fell in love there. I'll probably never talk to her again. For a while after I graduated, I couldn't stop going back. I was drawn to this place because it was, for better and worse, my home. I even filmed some of a movie there. When I graduated, I was immediately adrift. Couldn't get my bearings in Philadelphia. I remember seeing the movie If for the first time right around then, and it was like I ripped a Band-Aid off and came to terms with the wound that wasn't healing. This was the only film that captured the sensation I couldn't shake. That it felt like school wouldn't end, that I'd never leave, and how desperately I had to leave it behind because otherwise I was setting myself up to die back there in the past, in my memories, in something I couldn't control then and can't control now, and something that wasn't even real to begin with. The violence with which it ends echoes throughout the history of pop culture. school shootings, real and imagined. Violence and youth have always gone hand in hand. The film perfectly captured the way we can idealize and even wish for a certain kind of violence in our lives to upset the balance we view as unfairly tilted against us, to be free of authoritative tormentors, to feel like you can make or destroy everything if you have to.
You think we don't notice you with your hands in your pockets? The way you just sit there looking at everyone.
You three have become a danger to the morale of the whole house.
You can take that cheap little grin off your mouth. I serve the nation. You haven't the slightest idea what it means, have you? To you, it's just one bloody joke.
You mean that bit of wool on your tit?
You're in the 6th form now. You should be prepared to set an example of responsibility.
You're a nuisance.
Pathetic.
And as such, you must be punished. Well, have you anything to say? Any of you?
Yes, I have. The thing I hate about you, Roundtree, is the way you give Coca-Cola to your scum and your best teddy bear to Oxfam. And expect us to lick your frigid fingers for the rest of your frigid life.
Go down to the gym. Wait outside.
Most days you feel tossed around in stormy seas. No say in what happens to you. This movie seared itself into my brain like it was something I'd lived through. I suppose it almost was.
Blood. Yeah, blood.
If also has one of the great goth girlfriends, introduced in an electrifying dream sequence. If this isn't the perfect depiction of adolescent courtship with your dark-browed dream girl, I just can't help you.
Go on. Look at me. I'll kill you. Look at my eyes. Sometimes I stand in front of the mirror and my eyes get bigger and bigger. And I'm like a tiger. I like tigers.
Maybe that's why I became obsessed with stories about young people trapped in environments with no adults hanging around. By that moment where you breach your adolescence and have to become an adult. Because I don't remember when it happened for me. From the moment I set foot on the grounds of that place, I felt like I was play-acting adulthood because most of the day no one watched me or cared about what I did with myself. I had great teachers, but I knew that if I wanted to self-destruct, they couldn't stop me. They didn't stop a lot of my classmates who did. Now with COVID-19 trapping everyone in their homes, it feels like everyone else is play-acting at adulthood too. If you can't leave to see people, then you don't have real proof that you've been behaving the way that a functioning adult is supposed to. In high school, I tried to make some kind of order for myself, as all around me were people suffering in their own ways. Some never recovered. I lost friends to mental health issues over the years and dependencies, left over from adolescences where they never had to learn impulse control. Somewhere in this period I saw Heavenly Creatures and saw what I wouldn't recognize for years was a perfect demonstration of what me and my friends had gone through. Escaping into your own world to survive the one you lived in.
Daddy says the Bible's a load of bunkum.
But we're all going to heaven.
I'm not. I'm going to the fourth world. It's sort of like heaven. Only better, because there aren't any Christians. It's an absolute paradise of music, art, and pure enjoyment. James will be there, and Mario. Only they'll be saints.
It so moved me and held me that I made a sequel to it about what happened next to these young women so possessed by the belief that their world was preferable to the real world, so much so that they'd kill to stay there. I wanted them to have a happy ending. I couldn't get the thought out of my head. They did, after a fashion, have one. Both girls became our best and most interesting actresses. And both had moments in popular TV shows this year that made me feel 1,000 years old, but in their way connected me back to my younger self. They both beautifully display what it feels like to just want some of that youth back. The little girls from Heavenly Creatures had become people I also recognized. In Kate Winslet's case, it was especially uncanny, because she looked and sounded like my mom and her sisters, drank Rolling Rock, and goes to Wawa like I did every day of high school. Exhausted Pennsylvania suburbanites who glimpsed some hope after years of just gray-green nothingness. The same faces every day. Memories of the people you couldn't save, who didn't want you to save them, didn't want anything to do with you. When you think your hardened heart can't beat for someone else, and it threatens to again.
Sorry, I won't do that again. Can we get one more for the milady? And I'll do one of those. And I'll do a shot of Jameson. Thank you.
So, how was it, the reunion?
It was good. It was pretty awful. My ex was there. Almost ex-wife. She, she called it off 2 weeks before the wedding. But what are you gonna do?
I'm sorry, Zabel. That's, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Same. Yeah. Hey, here's to peanuts. I still don't know what happened, you know? I woke up one morning and she goes, "Nope, not in love with you anymore." Okay. Just let me put my bagel down. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm getting to that age, right? Forgive me, but I'm getting to the age where I'm starting to look at my life and I'm going, well, here's what I thought it would be. And here's what it actually is. Am I making any fucking sense?
I always imagined I'd be a cop, so life around me I didn't expect to fall apart so spectacularly.
sorry about your son. But you were a good mother.
No. No, I wasn't.
Dave! Dave! Shots.
Fuck yes! Sorry. Sorry.
Go on. Get back with your friends.
I don't know if I want to go back with them. I think I'd rather stay here with you.
Yellowjackets shows the thrill of it, but the hard come-down period, too, where you realize you don't really trust anyone. Maybe that's just because they aren't part of the dead-eyed mosaic that you've gotten used to seeing all these years.
Sub, just for the record, I'd have done this even if I'd won.
Oh, really? Really? Because you look a little scared.
Confidence.
So then, stop stalling. Unless you're chicken. Oh my God.
How about that?
Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Are you good?
Let's do this.
Oh my God.
I like this night.
Me too.
Maybe life was safer when you had no rules. Maybe the stakes didn't feel as high. Spending time in the aftermath of the crash, when you were young, when the world felt like it was ending, or maybe like it was never going to start, so you could do whatever you wanted. It was unsustainable, it was absurd and violent, but you were free. Now, today, it's still chaos, but no one's in charge. Nevertheless, you can't do whatever you want unless you stay inside, which you have to. But there's no one else with you who believes exactly what you believe. Even if you wanted to leave it all behind and run away, where would you go? I may never get back the trust I had in the world, because I know that I don't make the world anymore. And even when it felt like I did, I know that I didn't. The control that I gave myself was an illusion like anything else. The girls in the crash, they can pretend they're in control, but nature is in control. Time governs them more than anyone else. A feeling for a beautifully terrifying minute that you have your purpose, or that it returned.
You're out late.
What are you doing?
Waiting for you.
It's 4 a.m. How long have you been in my driveway?
I guess long enough to be out of my mind, but not long enough to be full stalker.
What if my husband was here, or my daughter?
I didn't see any cars, so
I made a calculation.
And that makes it okay? Jesus Christ. Go home, okay?
What are we doing, Shauna?
What are we doing? Are you serious? What happened to go with the flow? See where life takes me.
I'm up at night. I don't know. I'm wondering, like, maybe we could be something.
You're so full of shit. I'm an artist. I'm open to the universe. Look at me. That is all just a fucking act. All that is happening is that you're not in control and you're not used to it. Just
Wait. That's a nice try. But you feel exactly what I'm talking about running between us. Every single cell in your body wants to blow things up and see what happens. That's who you are.
If I have narcissistically showed you a lot of my own art, it's because on film sets is where I feel alive, where I feel like I have a purpose. Creating movies gave me purpose. It was my shelter. I felt at last like I was where I was supposed to be when I was in college. I chased every band I liked across Canada to make a documentary, living in my car to do it, to ask them if they had found a life worth living in making their art, because I was so scared that I wouldn't. I did it because that was easier than getting a job and giving up following someone else. Living a life other people told me I should want to live. Yellowjackets, made by people I've never met, featuring the stars I first obsessed over, playing character types I was head over heels for in my youth. The show said it all back to me. My whole life. Like someone had given me their yearbook and I saw pictures of myself in it that I had never seen before, that I didn't remember taking. I felt right to have obsessed over all of this, to have loved it all, because someone else did too. I'm not afraid to look at my yearbook anymore, because I can finally make peace with who I was, who I didn't become, and who I did, and how long it took. It's dangerous, feeling like you've come back online, found your purpose, like you're really living again. That's why some of us like movies, right? To see people really live, to see the extremes of the human condition, the best and the worst, freedom and confinement. They aren't like our lives, really, even when they are. But who wouldn't want to live just one more time?
Freezing breath on the window pane, lying and waiting. A man in the dark in a picture frame, so mystic and soulful. A voice reaching out in a piercing cry, it stays with you until